So it's no surprise that the Glacor has quickly become one of the most popular bosses in RuneScape 3 right now, and it's for good reason. One, it's very campable. You can literally sit at it for pretty much as long as you want if you have, good enough gear and you don't have to eat food and stuff like that, which I'm about to show you. Two, it's very profitable, obviously, because there's really not much input other than just potions. I don't know why I brought my whole inventory of food. I thought I was preparing for my hard mode kill, which I'm not doing yet, but normal mode, he has 5 basic mechanics, which you can toggle on and or off. This is the first mechanic. This is its passive, quote unquote. It'll always have these spikes no matter what you turn off, no matter what you do. It will always guaranteed have at least these spikes. So this right now is bare minimum Glacor. The more mechanics that you turn off, the less health he has. So if you have just the passive, he has very low health. This health that I have on right now is with all 5 mechanics on. So the first mechanic you're going to see is his Death Beam, which if you do not have prayer with devotion and or a shield to resonance it, you will die. Or if you don't have like a sign of life. On normal mode, as you've seen, it only hit me 1 time. You'll see like the one hit for magic, the magic that hits literally 1, and then you'll see like the resonance and or the whatever you used on it, the devotion. In normal mode, it will only tick you 1 time. So you can use a shield and resonance it in normal mode if you wish to do that. But if you go to hard mode, it'll hit you twice. So no matter what, you have to use devotion with your prayer or else you'll just die. I've made the mistake multiple times to the point to where it annoyed me because I bring my shield, I switched from normal to hard mode and I think, okay, I'm good. I got my shield. I resonance it, perfect timing. It hits the whatever 2000, it'll heal me, and then bam, I get smacked for 11k and then just immediately die. It sucks and it's annoying. So if you're in normal mode, a shield resonance on that works perfectly fine. If you're doing hard mode, you'll need twice. You'll need to just use devotion, which I will show here in a minute. Now, this is the second, well, I guess the third. You've seen the core mechanic there that he used on me, which was whenever he laid his claws down on the ground, opened up, and the little core came out. Basically, all that ability is he will bleed you. You've seen the ticking magic damage. The longer you're in that bleed, the more damage it's going to do. So your objective, you only have to kill 1 of those claws. You want to DPS that claw down as quickly as possible. So if you think that you're about to go into that phase or into that ability, you want to save like your rapid fire or your thresholds. You want to save those until that, because there's no damage cap, there's no none of that, but the quicker you get through that phase, the better. Which you can use your devotion, so don't worry about that. If you start to get, it'll start ticking 200, 400, 600, it'll start ticking like straight 2Ks on you. Don't worry about it. You can use devotion if you're at the tail end of it and you're about to die, so you can use devotion there. Next, you've seen those little ice pillars come down, and basically what was me just running around from them. Those will, A, do damage to you, which is typeless, so you can't defend against it. B, they will stun you. You can see this little debuff right here. Each stack increases your defense, and getting to 10 stacks will stun you. Basically, whenever Glacor is hitting you, if you stand still, or if you're getting hit by those pillars, you'll start to get those stuns. And if it gets to 10 stacks, it will stun you. But usually you're moving around enough, that's really not a mechanic you have to worry about ever. So, you've seen that there was 2 of them. In normal mode, there's only 2. When you go to hard mode, it turns to 3, which kind of gets more annoying, but you've seen they're very slow, and they really aren't that big of a problem, as long as you just walk around them. Next, you just seen the little Glacites. The Glacites, it's just like a normal Glacor. Whenever there's the one Glacite that's near it, you really can't do damage to a normal Glacor. That's literally the same mechanic. All you have to do is kill those 4 Glacites, and you can immediately go back onto the boss. Now, I forgot my mechanized Chinchampas because I don't know why. I just loaded up a food and said, let's go. I forgot my mechanized Chinchampas, which is what I normally use to kill those because it's very quick. But if you have like thresholds, like if you have your bombardment or if you have corruption shot or anything like that, then it's very easy to kill them very quickly and they're not really a problem. Now this is normal mode loot. You can click this middle one. If you have area loot, you can quickly pick everything up. You can head out and you're good to go. Now that was a standard normal mode kill. Pretty simplistic stuff. Again, you literally don't need to use food. You don't need to use much of anything. Right here, I'll show it in a second when I go to bank. I'm gonna get ready for my hard mode kill now, just to kind of demonstrate what the difference is. Now, you've seen with the laser beam that I was using my devotion because I like to do that just to prepare myself for when I go to hard mode, because a lot of times I'll think, oh yeah, I got my shield, I'm good, and then I end up dying immediately because I keep forgetting that you can't use a shield on hard mode. Now, I'm not doing anything special here. I'm not using Vuln Bombs. I'm not doing any of that. I mean, I do have a Ripper Demon full Serenic, my Ascension Bows. This is like, I'd say a mid-tier boss. You can kill this thing with tier 80s, to be honest. It's very easy, very simplistic, and the more mechanics you have enabled, the more health it has. It's as simple as that. If you disable some mechanics, it has less health, and that's pretty much it. It can be poisoned, which is nice, so you can bring Cinderbanes, you can bring Dreadnips, you can bring stuff like that that will help you out throughout the fight. You can also, like I just said, you can bring Chinchompas, mechanized Chinchompas. They help out a lot. They are pretty inexpensive. They're only 11k a piece, but they also don't get used. Like, if you're using your abilities and stuff like that, there's a very low chance that it'll use those Chinchompas. I've gone 50 kills while using these Chinchompas, and I've only used 4 so far. So it really doesn't use that many Chinchompas, but that's what I recommend to get rid of those Glacites very quickly. The rest of my inventory setup, pretty simplistic. Super Restore, Cerebrews in case I screw something up and I forget, blah, blah, blah. Right there's the mechanics. You can actually just click on those to enable them. Click on that. It enables hard mode. So now we're going to go in. My personal best is only 24% Rage because I really don't like to do hard mode on this boss just because of the fact that they tweaked the drops, but it was more profitable to do normal mode. Now, hard mode is obviously very similar. We're just going to sit here. We're going to soul split. Now, the mechanics that change in hard mode, you'll see the 3 ice pillars, and you'll also see the 2 blasts coming up from the death cannon, like right here. This is whenever you need to have devotion, because you'll see 1, 2, 3. Was it 3 there? Yeah. Well, either way, you get hit twice. I actually wasn't paying attention there. I don't really pay attention because I automatically know that I'm going to be okay because I'm using my devotion. If you're preparing yourself for hard mode, that's what you need to do. The Glacites, as you can see, they go from 2,500 to 13,000 HP. Obviously, a big drop there, or a big increase there. But, again, nothing that the mechanized Chinchompas really can't handle. I get them away quickly. Well, I kind of messed this one up, but it's whatever. Again, this boss it's not very hard. Now, you'll notice the Glacites drop those little orbs. The little orbs, if you click on them, it does damage to the boss. That 1249, that's from these unstable Glacite cores. A little hint for this, whenever it does the ice pillars, it'll be the only one from the left. You always want to get bleeds on him before you go into this phase, because right now you actually cannot attack him while he's doing this. So if you get bleeds on him, you'll automatically get free damage from it while you're actually running around. Now you can see there's the third one, and as you can see, all you have to do is basically just run around. Usually by the time you stand there for a second, come over here, they're gone. As you can see, they're really not that big of a threat. Now, this is the next one. Sometimes 32,000, it can start to hurt, which you'll see. I'm going to let this stack up on me a bit here. You'll see how much it'll actually start to hurt and hurt and hurt and hurt. I'm going to Excalibur real quick, just because I don't actually want to die. 100, 400, 200. Now, I ended that. Well, I didn't end it yet. Yeah, there was a 994, 1307. Yeah, it hurts. So, usually right near, like, whenever it gets about halfway, I'll always just throw my devotion on just because I know that there's a low chance of me dying. This is also 0% in rage, keep in mind. If you're going to higher in rages, you might want to watch out for that, which normally I will just automatically throw on my anti-mage and let it go. Now, you've seen it said it focuses its attacks. You can see that mist coming up. That mist signifies what attack it's going to be. Green means that it's going to be range, and if there's nothing, that means it's going to be mage. Pretty simplistic there. If you see green, flick on your anti-range. If he swipes the ground, yeah, like that, that means that he's going to do melee. Again, pretty simplistic. And that his buff doesn't always last forever. Only after it says he focuses his attacks, that's whenever it's going to chunk you for a lot. Now, you can Prayer Flick this entire time, which I would recommend learning because it's super helpful. You can literally sit here, Soul Split, and Prayer Flick. It's very similar to Raksha, how the mechanics work, because you're focusing on a lot of things at once, but you're also trying to do a lot of damage at once. So, like, the Prayer Flicking constantly and things like that. Now, as you can see, again, the 3 ice pillars. This is normally what annoyed me when I first started this boss because I hated running around as much as I was. But again, as you can see, it really isn't that big of a threat. They didn't even touch me right there. And that was it. So now I'm going to put on my anti-mage. I'm just going to try to DPS this down as fast as I can. And right whenever it's about half HP, even though I know it's really not going to do that much damage to me, I'm just going to do that, use Deadshot just for the sake of it. I didn't even actually get my devotion before I used that. I don't know why. Something's lagging today. My abilities aren't proccing right whenever I tell them to. But other than that, that is basically the rundown of Glacor right now. The loots, sadly, this crashed the market on a lot of stuff, but it is still a very profitable boss. Whenever you get things like the any kind of salvage that you can alch, that's always guaranteed money. Even if you're like an Ironman, this is a great boss for Ironman because of the fact you get so many crushed nests, you get so many things that'll help you skilling and just throughout RuneScape in general that you really aren't going to have to worry about like money problems, skilling problems, stuff like that. Similar to Telos, whenever you pick up your loot, you can see you can just click on Claim Reward. It will not respawn in hard mode like it will in normal mode because obviously you don't want it to respawn while you're getting loot and stuff like that. And it has the same loots in hard mode, except for the exception that you can get the piece that you need to make the tier 95s. That is the only exception in hard mode. And I got 200 Glacor remnants, which are pieces, again, that you need to make the tier 85s and or tier 95s. So that literally was a 0 profit kill, which kind of sucks. But again, you can just continue the challenge. I'm just going to claim the loot for the video purposes. I haven't really killed many of this boss. Like, I haven't streaked it a lot or anything like that yet. I just kind of mess around whenever I'm in normal mode. I'll mess around, stuff like that, just to see what I can get. But to give you an idea of how much you can make, I got a little bit of the loot earlier. I got these little Elder Troves here. These are really nice, and I like getting these. Where did the rest of my loot go? Well, the rest of my loot disappeared somewhere, but you get these as a drop too. You can literally open them, and it'll give you another piece of the drop. So if you see that, oh yeah, your loot wasn't that very good, well then you get one of those, and voila, you might have made a couple 100k off of just that kill. It drops a lot of these, it drops a lot of Bird's Nest, it drops a lot of Blue and Crimson Charms, it drops a lot of Crystal Keys, it drops a lot of Battle Staves. There's the Glacor rune that I got. It drops a lot of odds and ends, and it also drops whole Crystal Triskelion keys, which is really nice because if you've never made one of these or if you've tried to make one, it can literally be months before you get these fragments. But I actually just got one of these about 20 minutes ago whenever I was filming a video for this. So that's really nice to get. And if you ever get these Orichalcum, I think that's what they're called, yeah, Orichalcum, they are pretty much worth the most money. Because even though, yeah, they're only 78k right now. So I think prices actually might have evened out finally. Whenever I was originally, I have 4k Bird's Nest. I only had about 2,900 of those before I started doing Glacor. And I've only been doing this, I haven't really killed many of them. But you get many, many of them from a singular drop. So it's really nice. The Crystal Keys, obviously. I'm pretty sure the prices actually got adjusted finally because these used to be, I believe, like 115k. And then now they're dropping down. A lot of the stuff went down to alch price. If you don't have something that can be alchable, it was really not selling well, which I can see it in my, I don't know, I teleported there. I can see it in my Grand Exchange history, what they used to be. Or if you even go look at the charts for some of the items that Glacor had, they are bad whenever this thing was first released. So, okay, I actually don't have any. Huh, well, I've sold too many things. But the Bay Knight Stone Spirits were one of them. They were 1,005 each. They only sold for 1,005. I wonder if their price is adjusted yet. Yeah, they're only 2,900. Whenever this boss first came out, these were like, I think, 15k a piece. Because there was just no way to, like, they were super annoying to get. Like, I forget what you had to kill to get just those Bay Knight Stone Spirits. But it was really annoying to get those. And then once this boss came out, it just ruined all of that. So, to build the tier 95s and such, it's actually interesting, too, because you can't just get them as a drop. It's similar to Telos, yet again. You take these Glacor remnants, and you have to craft them. As you can see, for the just one tier 85, you need 2,500 remnants, 5 Dark Nylas, 10 Blackstone Hearts, and 2 Glorious Bars. To build the tier 95s, the Frozen Core of Lang. That is what you have to be in hard mode to get. Notice you don't need that for either of those, but you do need the Frozen Core for both of the tier 95s. Tier 95 can only be made by getting hard mode drops. Which, what was it called again? I actually don't even know the name of them because I haven't looked them up or anything like that. Oh, it's actually just the Dark Shroud of Lang. Okay. Last time I checked, these were, I believe, they're only 149. It says that in here, but I really feel like that's not accurate. Last time I knew they were like 800 mil a piece. Something like that. But that's the interesting part of that mechanic of the drops. Again, just like Telos, you have to get it, you have to build it. It's a lot easier to camp for these in normal mode, because obviously you don't want to go through an entire hard mode kill, only get Glacor remnants, and then be like, okay, well, I just made 0 money. You might have spent a lot of money on food, you might have messed up mechanics or something, you know, you might have used a sign of life, and then you just screwed. So that is a general rundown of the Glacor. Again, wouldn't be that hard to kill it in tier 80. I literally have seen people kill it in just Royal D'Hide and a Royal Crossbow. Very easy boss. You could probably even use Void if you wanted to. You can actually melee it, you can mage it, you can do whatever you want. Melee is a little more annoying because you can't be wherever you want to be. Like some of the mechanics where it traps you to the left or it traps you to the right. Unless you have like a lance or something, I don't think you would have the range to actually hit it from there. So I just use range or mage. I just use range because of my Serenic. It's my tier 90 other than my melee. I actually don't have tier 90 mage. So I just use my Serenic when I'm in hard mode, or I just use Pernix, chill in normal mode, turn off some of the mechanics, and you can literally just camp there for hours. Overall, though, I don't think the Glacor is a bad boss. It's definitely going to be worth it for, like I said, people that like to do skilling or stuff like that, or just people that, you know, like are looking for a fun boss to sit at that also has a high reward potential. It's not like a Telos where, you know, there's this phase, this phase, this phase, this phase, this phase, these mechanics, these mechanics, these mechanics. 5 basic mechanics that are really easy to avoid, that aren't that hard to like actually remember. And the only time you really die is if it catches you off guard, or if you just don't, like, you don't prayer flick correctly, then you will get messed up. Higher in rage, I'm pretty sure a couple people in my clan were like, yeah, it's hitting me for 7k through prayer. Whenever it does, it focuses its attacks. They were getting hit for 7k through prayer. I don't know if that was accurate, if they meant like without prayer or not, but it'll smack you pretty hard. So, any questions, anything like that, feel free to comment. Feel free to add me. My name is just JCat, simple as that. If you want to go bossing sometime, I can do most bosses. Well, I have done most bosses. I can do any boss, but I just really don't. I don't know about this guy right here. Or that guy right there. But anyway, that's the rundown of the Glacor. Very easy boss. Very profitable. Right now, it is the Fateful Portal at War's Retreat. I almost said Death's Office. It is the Fateful Portal at War's Retreat. Go and get you some loot. Maybe even get a baby Glacor like hundreds of thousands, I'm sure, of other people already have. Hope you enjoyed. I hope it was helpful. See you in the next one.